Imagine this. So the camera is cutting between Fireball and the
Haggler.
Yeah, that's it. The Haggler. Yeah, that's it. It was called the Haggler, and they're doing their scene. So it's like cutting between Fireball, and they're talking about this relic in this briefcase, and he's like, "Oh, that's worth like 50,000 units, whatever, for Flaming Raiders." And then you can just see, just in the background, like the camera just like shifts, and I've got like my back turned, and I'm just like filling my pockets, and just like stealing everything I can get my hands on, anything that will go into that little rucksack bag that he gave me. Hi there and welcome to Two Rules Podcast. My name is Liam Reedy and today we are talking about the worst kept secret in all of live cinematic immersive experiences. We can only be talking about secret cinema. I was lucky enough to go to the latest one, which was last summer, and that world was Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it appropriate to do this right now, as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is now in cinemas. We will get to that very soon, but first I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been giving us a listen whilst we haven't been posting quite as frequently as we'd like. Just want to say thank you. We've had loads and loads of listeners from all over the place, and we just want to say thank you. And so we're just going to get straight into this episode. So yeah, here we go. Bit of a different one this time.
Not about a movie in particular.
Well, it is and it isn't.
It is and it isn't.
It is and it isn't. It is what it is because it is what it isn't. And so talking about
bit of both.
A bit of both. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and so obviously here in the UK we're lucky enough to have secret cinema. I mean, they've tried to branch out. They had one in. They've had them in other countries.
America's had
two. I think they've had.
I think so. They did
Arcane and
Arcane. I know. Yeah, that's the one I'm jealous of.
Right. As someone who's not watched it, and I've just
that would have been a brilliant one.
Just had to hear about it.
Yeah, that would have been a fantastic one.
I don't know
brilliant
why.
Little world there.
Doesn't really. This is why I haven't watched Invincible. Is like it has like. The Amazon Prime show.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yes.
I just there is something sometimes that stops me from watching animated shows. But I don't know what it is.
I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to come straight out and tell you what it is
I
now.
Guess.
Poor judgment. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, okay. Right. I thought you were going to be like you're a stuck-up cunt. That's what I was going to say.
No, people have heard your top 10 fives. I don't need to tell them that.
Yeah. As if I don't get enough flack for that. It's just like, he won't watch anime because he's just like.
But you do though.
So above you. Yeah, I know I do. Yeah,
you're even getting ready to watch 97, aren't you? X-Men 97.
Yeah. Like, well up for it.
That's going to be a cartoon.
I've started the pilgrimage of doing all the.
That's not going to be. You're watching the Saturday morning cartoons for kids, which obviously have material that you can appreciate. But like I've been watching them as well, but. The ones that have got like adult material, adult content, you're just like, nah, I'm not taking that cartoon shit.
No, well, that's definitely not the case.
No, it's not.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes when someone
you love animation.
No, I feel like Harry has had a bit of an influence where he loves not watching what people say is like great.
Yeah.
I feel like that's happened with him for a couple of times where he's.
Well, he famously waits about 2 years.
Yeah. Or so for I think he came into Game of Thrones really late for that.
Yeah,
I think I feel like quite a few people do that. Where it's like it's so good, and people are like, "Oh, it's really good." I did it for Breaking Bad. Maybe I only really did it for Breaking Bad because I don't think it was available in the UK like as readily. It wasn't on like Sky or BT.
And the streaming services weren't quite.
No. So that was one of the things where I was like, I'm just gonna wait, and then I waited until everything was out, and then I watched it all. It was great.
Well,
so I'm doing for Better Call Saul, which is just finished. I haven't watched a single episode.
I want to go,
and now I can watch it all.
I might do that. That's not bad. I did it with Game of Thrones. I binged the first 2 seasons in time for the third.
Mate, I watched I think me and a friend, me and Sean were like looking at trailers and stuff for it and articles on it online. Just because we were like, what is this? Because it had Sean Bean in it, and it's a medieval setting, quote unquote, fantasy.
Yeah.
we were like, it's probably going to be good.
Watch which one.
Yeah, it's probably going to be good. Yeah. And I watched the first episode when it came out in America. I didn't even fucking wait until it came out. But this was before it was like, it was on the next day on Sky. First two series were like way after it, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least it was like, it wasn't up to date. It wasn't like it is now.
I think it was season 3 onwards they started doing the next day on Sky thing, and that was still a very new thing for the world kind of thing.
Well, the only other TV show that they did that for, where it comes out the next day, was Lost. Sky was one of the first ones where they were like, people are just pirating it. Yeah. So let's put it on the next day.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
Get on. I'm
going to sail them 7 seas once again. But the
the secret cinemas. Yeah. So they've tried to branch out a little bit. But it's very much a British thing still, and we have endless discussions on both ones we've missed, and regrettably, and ones we've sort of like pitch of the idea of. I
mean, it's good to fantasy book.
Yeah. And so far, a couple have been ticked off the box, and we've even looked back and I think remember when we've done the Lord of the Rings one, and this one, which was
Lord of the Rings.
That would be great. Sorry, we were just talking about Star Wars. We did the Star Wars one. Was the first one we did, and I remember there pitching Alien, and then I think we found out shortly after that they'd actually already done it.
Literally pitched it. And we were just like, we're far too late by about 5 years. Yeah.
Kicked off with Back to the Future, which people still talk about as possibly one of the best ones. But it is getting better and bigger every time. And then Dirty Dancing seems to be a recurring one.
I mean, I feel like it just got a second run because of COVID.
Is it a second run, though? I'm pretty sure, isn't it annually they're doing Dirty Dancing?
I don't think so.
Another one we regrettably... There's 2 others that I regret we missed. And that was Moulin Rouge, because that would have been good. And Casino Royale.
Yeah, very gutted I missed that one.
Yeah, apparently. Like, the Casino Royale one, apparently was it your friends was it Sam or his brother that was telling us this one about like because what happens with secret cinema is you just breakdown of it.
Well, they have a formula, don't they?
Yeah, it's essentially, it's not necessarily depending on the film, depending on how the events of the film or the structure of the film allows it to. You will essentially immerse yourself in the world of the film, or maybe the first film. And if there's a sequel, you will then watch the sequel while the actors act around you as well, immersively, as long as the film allows it. So with the Star Wars one, that very much happened to us.
Didn't happen for this one, though.
Didn't happen with this one, no. It was all light show and stuff with this one, but it was Guardians of the Galaxy, so it is quite hard to do, especially the second one. But apparently the Casino Royale one was like, it was freaky how in sync the actors were. Like someone would move in the background at the bar. No, but apparently they had the bar set up and they were playing the card game in front of them. And someone in the background would get up and move, and the actor would get up and move in the perfect time. So it was, the whole thing was like in perfect sync. You did Stranger Things, didn't you?
Yeah, that was
sort of a different vibe because it was a TV series.
Yeah, being a TV series, it was, it was interesting. We were thinking, they'll probably do like a screening of like an episode or two, like, or finale. Yeah, and they would like act around that. Yeah, but seeing as the third series was the latest one out. Yeah, you got to live in the world of season 3. Okay. And then so at the end of the experience, the live experience, because it's kind of split into 2. Yeah. I feel like this is the first one where they're offering a choice of just having the live experience or the live experience and then the viewing.
I think that's quite a new
thing. It was always just like
you just do the 2
part of it. Yeah. But the thing with Stranger Things is they had to. It was in a huge. I mean, they're all in the huge warehouses all over London town, but in a huge warehouse, which was then adjacent to an even bigger warehouse. So it was like you went in and you went through the events, different parts of season 3, And then you went into the big warehouse, and they crammed everyone in. It wasn't really crammed, but they just got everyone into one big space. And in this particular warehouse, they had like gantries around each. It was a perfect square, like a cube, and they just had gantries around each side, and they had 2 sets of actors act out from season 1 to beginning of season 3.
Oh, okay.
Or even past. I might have even done the end of season 3 actually, but it was just like. It was crazy how they did it, and having it up so high is why you could have like a couple of thousand people in there, and everyone be able to see. Had loads of don't know really how to describe it. Loads of effects. Like they had like an actual person in like a Demogorgon suit. And it didn't look shit. Like,
oh really?
it looks great. Like
what did they do for the kids?
They had kids.
They had kids, kid actors. I didn't know if they were going to able to do that.
Definitely,
or they did that. Yeah. So they could. It's only a couple of hours of work, isn't it? So
I'd say we were there in the live experience for.
It gets complicated with kids' working hours, doesn't it? So I didn't know if they were going to.
That's why there probably was about 3 sets of kids. For the whole thing, so it was 2 for the performance at the end, which is about an hour long. But then through the live experience, which was about 2.5 hours, you probably had 1 set.
Well, even with the Star Wars one we went to, we found out that there was actually a couple of sets of each character, wasn't there? Because we saw one guy running around as Luke, but when we were doing the immersive bit, we saw our guy as Han Solo, but another guy doing Luke, wasn't it? Sort of thing, So
with Stranger Things, I think. It's good that they're all different styles, because obviously, as live experiences go, as much as I was looking forward to it being similar to the other 2 that I'd been to, I was looking forward to like what was going to be new about it, or what it was going to be like. So it's a little bit. Once you've been a couple of times, it's a little bit like you know what to expect, but you don't. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit of an odd line to tread.
It is. I do like this whole the fact that they'll do it based on the ones we've been to so far, not including this one because we're going to refrain from spoilers for that one. The ones we. Been too far. It does seem. So I've only been to the Star Wars. You've been to the Strange Things and Star Wars one, and talking to people about the others, they kind of like they'll use the film as a basis in some respects. And like for Star Wars, we were literally able to live out the first film, weren't we? We were able to do. You've been much immersed in A New Hope. There was bits where Luke ran past you. They kind of added bits in here and there. I got mugged off by Han Solo. It was amazing. And punched in the knee by Chewie. That was quite good. That was sort of like you could pretty much follow the events of the first one in that because the film permitted it. And then you go into a room and you watch Empire and the actors like pop up around you.
It was very much like that, where for Empire they had the screens and then they had a gantry above it, didn't they? It was very much like that with Stranger Things.
Fair, that's good.
It was just 360.
And instead of having, I think it was with Star Wars, I think there was like 3 sets of cinema, weren't there?
Oh, there was more than that. I think there was like 4 or 5.
So that the actors everyone would have had different actors and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Watching Luke and Vader like rise up in front of us on a stage and then do the final scene up in the gantry that's one of the highlights of
more than worth what it was. It was quite expensive, cool. The tickets. I'll put
the Vader looked sick. I mean the actors haven't really disappointed.
They all looked amazing.
Yeah, obviously it's not Mark Hamill. But the guy looks like the thing. Han Solo, as far as I'm concerned, I got mugged up by Han Solo.
Yeah.
Not Harrison Ford, Han Solo. Yeah. The Vader was really good.
You don't want to tangle with Harrison Ford.
No. I can take Han Solo. I can deal with, but no. Vader was brilliant. Like it was just, and it was just the fight. They were doing the fight, weren't it? You could see they did the fight. It was in perfect sync with the. They picked it very well, very very well.
With Secret Cinema, there's always a bit of like anticipation about like what's going to be next. I didn't think they were going to do Marvel this soon, but I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy itself is like a self-contained bubble within Marvel that you don't have to deal with. You don't really have to deal with anything else because it's all in outer space.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I think part of the reason they exist is because of that.
Yeah.
The people wanted to be able to do whatever they wanted to do in a Marvel film, get the audience, but without having to deal with tying it in with everyone else, sort of thing.
Like, imagine if it was like Avengers, like, or would be a good one, be a bit tough to sort. But I mean, here's the thing: every single time I think of something, an idea for a secret cinema, like most people do, it's always like, God, that'd be tough. But I wonder how they would do it, And then, it's the other times that I've been. The other 2 times, we'll get on to the third time, but the other 2 times, like, there's not been one thing that I've been like disappointed at.
No.
Maybe the only nitpick, which again I'm gonna have to talk about, is time.
Yeah.
So, obviously you'd love to spend 6 hours, but you get less than that.
So, you get about 2, and suddenly you're like, oh shit, coming towards the end thing, and it's a bit,
They did send me an email today, actually. Not me personally, obviously, but the about. I feel like it was just like an email, just like, do you want to go again? Like it's someone you go on a roller coaster. And someone asks, like, should we do that again?
Yeah.
But it's like the person who owns the roller coaster is asking you. And I was a little bit like, because the first line is like, is there anything you missed? And I was just like, yeah, but that wasn't my fault. That was your fault for giving me less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, as much as we've said that, that's not really a spoiler. And it's also not really because it is a business, like they are putting on events. It's an event. So,
and also, that's a spoiler. That's advice if you do one of these. Keep time in mind. Yeah, because it is very easy to get lost in. It is very good. The immersive is absolutely immersive, and you do kind of get a bit immersed. So it is a bit easy to
lose time.
You can lose an hour just like fucking around listening to different actors they've thrown in there and things like that.
I feel like we did that. Obviously, I'm definitely at fault for this, but like one of the pieces of advice that most people give who go to secret cinema is don't waste your time getting food or drink. Yeah, and I must have gone to one of the bars at least like 4, 5, 6 times. Yeah. It's not. It's just one of those things where you feel like you're. I know it's probably part of like how it's designed, to optimize like. Yeah. So they're the snowmen. They're trying to empty your wallets. Absolutely. Yeah. That's not a bad thing. Like, let me just say that before you think I'm taking the piss. But I feel like it's set up that way because it's like you want people. It is just trying to,
and especially with the Star Wars one, we're in the middle of Tatooine. There's going to be food stalls and stuff.
They make it make sense. And
the cantina had beer and stuff. You want to be able to go to the cantina and get a drink,
and also because you're in there and everyone's in like good spirits. It's like, you're gonna want to drink. Or even,
although I do wish with the Star Wars one they'd not done brands.
What do you mean?
Like beer. The beers and stuff, wasn't it? It was like branded, some sort of branded
obviously beer. They're going to do that. How much more money would they have to pump into it?
Wrap up the can in something.
Okay.
Or just make, or only do like cocktail, or give them buy some cheap glasses that look a bit spacey, and then serve it in that sort of thing.
Opens up a myriad of like problems there, but also I'm feeling like I'm not privy to any of this information. This is just a guess. But getting the license from Disney for Star Wars is probably quite expensive. Yeah. So if I was doing this, I'd be like, look, I'm not cutting corners. Yeah. I'm just keeping cost like down.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. So, but it was you said the same beer. It's just I feel like don't just give it to me don't have a big Heineken sign.
Well, here's the thing, mate. Yeah. There's been more egregious product placements from Star Wars now that they're acquired by Disney. You've seen like the like Coke, they're like thermal detonators, but they're like Coke bottles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like.
Oh no.
So I mean, Star Wars is just like.
Oh, yeah, but that started with.
It's to sell products now.
I still to this day can picture a Pepsi can with Phantom Menace
all
over it, kind of shit. Like,
Star Wars is intrinsically linked with like cereals and sodas now, so
but and not in the movie itself though.
Yeah, no,
it's all
obviously
outside.
not.
It's all outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. The start, I think.
But yeah, don't waste your time getting drinks. But do have a good time and have a drink. But...
And also, what another advice I'd give from them that we've experienced, and we can talk about the Star Wars one as an example of the story, is don't necessarily let them give you the narrative. Like, feel a bit free to play with the narrative a little bit. Like, for instance, ours was with the Star Wars one, you got to choose whether you turned up as, what was it, a mercenary, a bounty hunter.
There was a few different
Jedi?
kind of.
Was Jedi one of them?
No, there was more like just like trader.
Yeah, traders.
Like that, yeah.
We went as mercenaries, obviously, and sprayed up the Nerf guns. Everything, it was great. We didn't do that this time, but like,
no, it
was a different time. 6 years ago,
we were the only ones bringing in weapons.
Yeah.
Not like actually,
No, it was Nerf guns. Yeah.
But you're mercenaries and you're just turning up without weapons. Like, you're gonna die.
Who are you? But
I still remember taking my old laptop bag strap, and tying it around the ends of the gun,
the Nerf gun,
so I could just fucking have it. I could just wear it and not have to hold it.
Me and Sam shot to Wilkinson's in St Albans, bought some spray paint and sprayed up our guns.
But
to be 25 again.
25.
Was it 25?
Yeah, it was 2015.
Yeah, well, just
at a simpler time. When The Force Awakens was on the horizon. Everything was looking up Star Wars wise.
But
let's not get into that.
But then so what we end up doing was you have to get this spice. They give you tasks and stuff based on what you're doing, and ours was we had to get some spice, and this would get us so and so. Actually, no, we thought we had to get spice to get into the cantina, and then found out actually because we were mercenaries, we could actually just gone in whenever we wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
But we spent the first bit trying to get this spice, and we just couldn't quite work out what to do. Went and talked to this lady. She was less than helpful. She just kind of mugged us off a bit, didn't she?
Yeah, I feel like she did, yeah.
Just kind of like, we were like, oh, okay, that wasn't... But like, it's all part of it. She's in character.
Obviously,
fine. Yeah. So, our good captain here, Captain Nipple...
I will say that is one thing that I must commend Secret Cinema on, is that the breaking of character just never... They never break character.
Not seen it yet. They they thrive in it. They love it. The actors in the wild are very much...
An accumulative of like 7 to 8 hours I'm just like, no one has broken
character yet. They've done well.
Fantastic
work.
The
terrible American accents are thriving.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
But don't care. It's great. It's part of it. So
still part of
Liam decided as much my favorite story from the whole thing is that I got mugged off by Han Solo. Liam's is that he robbed a Jawa.
That's not my favorite story.
Oh, okay.
That's not the best thing.
It's one of my favorite stories. But yeah, robbed a Jawa.
Yeah, but my best story is getting a promotion.
Yes.
Inside the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
For infiltrating. I was basically being a spy.
We were sent into Death Star as spies.
I was doing Rogue One before Rogue One.
Essentially, you were doing Rogue One before Rogue One, but you were doing Rogue One and
A New
Hope. It was like it was
a nice little hybrid.
It was. All that was missing was the Stormtrooper outfits. To be fair, but yeah, that was quite a good one. With all of them as well, he has. We give him the nickname of Captain Nipple. It basically stems.
It's not a nickname. It's his
name. It's the persona. Yeah. Essentially, when you do these things, the weeks build up, and we'll go into this about what happened with this one.
Yeah,
is you sign up, you get a character. It's evolved since we did
the
Star Wars one. The Star Wars one went to it was very much like, hey, pick what class you want to be. Out of these, and this
they're all random name generators.
Yeah, and then here's your name. It's like, okay, and that was it. Yeah. And he got something like, it sounded enough like Areola that we just called him Captain Nipple.
Yeah,
and it became Major Nipple.
Yep.
That was fun. You robbing a Jawa, and then that lady mugging us off,
and then realizing my lifelong passion for stealing.
Oh, Liam is an exclusively Secret Cinema kleptomaniac.
Yeah, exclusively Secret Cinema.
No other aspect of his life does he steal, but when it comes to Secret Cinema or some sort of immersive event, he becomes a kleptomaniac.
There was a point in the most recent one. Oh yeah, so my stealing, basically it's now I have to go, and now I have to take something.
Yeah, and you did well this time.
And I did that actually. This is not Secret Cinema, but it's also another immersive experience. I did it for Doctor Who.
Yeah. I didn't know you did it. Doctor
Time
Who.
Fracture.
Yeah.
Is I took like this like little boarding pass or like this like key card, which is like part of the main story.
Yeah.
I mean, they have loads of them. It's not like I've taken something. They're like, oh no, what's going on? They've got contingencies for shit like this happening for weirdos like me coming in.
Yeah.
And so every time I take something, I sometimes I lose track of it, but but this one was just like you said before. You said about trading stuff with people, which is a main part of like
you trade
Secret
stuff.
Cinema.
I think that with the Star Wars one, we didn't realise it was that you could bring things and you can trade them. Yeah. And we didn't.
Oh no. So yes, you can bring other stuff, but like the pre-brief, I guess.
Yeah, for this one.
No, sorry, I'm going to talk about the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
The pre-brief for the Star Wars one gave you a link to a shop.
That was it.
Where you didn't have to buy this stuff. Like it is all optional.
Yeah.
But I feel like bringing the stuff is you can get more out of it.
Yeah.
So and with this one, with Guardians of the Galaxy, they made it so that it was things that you could find at home.
Yeah.
Rather than 7 years ago at Star Wars, it was buy this stuff from the shop and you trade it for other things, and then you get access to either other areas or storylines or things that are happening. Things with legacy characters. Lots of stuff that you might not miss out on like a substantial amount, but if you want to get everything out of it,
it's worth it.
You do have to go head first.
So
I think that it was like a bag of like gold, which was just rocks spray painted gold. Like old computer parts. I mean, you could have found old computer parts.
Yeah, I think that was the one you could bring if you wanted to, but
it
was all like it was like fake computer
parts.
And
then there was stuff that you just bring this stuff, and then we realised early on that because I feel when we first went to the Star Wars Secret Cinema, because it was the first time for all of us, none of us had a clue what to expect. Harry had been to Back to the Future, and he had said about certain aspects of it, what it's like. But I think even Harry missed out on because a friend of yours said it was like that, where there was stuff to do, you had a role, whereas Harry last time he just said he turned up. So I feel like he probably missed out.
My friend, a friend of mine did.
He probably did what he did this time, and it was just like, I can't be bothered. I
think she said she was a reporter, and her boyfriend was a high school student.
Oh, okay.
And depending on which you were, you had different things to follow in that, and like sometimes if you bumped into this character, you'd hear the character. They'd mention another character, you'd hear the character's name, and like that came and told you where to go and stuff. I think her thing was she basically had to follow this story or some shit, and I can't remember what the high school guy one was, but
So with Star Wars, it was obviously we said that it was you get a couple of roles. I think there was like 3 or 4.
What was it? It was mercenary trader and something else.
No, I feel like I don't think
there
was.
No, we'd have chosen Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, we would have. And with Strange Things, it was you're sorted into high school years.
You said this.
And whatever high school year you get would determine if you're like a jock or like new wave rocker.
Oh, okay.
So that was actually all random. Like I didn't really do any research for that. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to pick this or like try and roll for that. Like re-rolling it, which I thought about doing for Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought about re-rolling my name because my name was Raidon, and we were in the Flaming Raiders, and I was just like, it's just too damn close. Like the inner writer in me was just like, this is just horrible, but it doesn't come up at all. So.
I nearly did because mine was Celine, but I was like, do you know what? Grandmother's name,
Celine Dion.
It was.
The Flaming
It wasn't
Raiders.
spelt that way,
Right.
but it was. It was Selene.
Okay.
It's Celine, but I was like, I could re-roll this, but also space, so it doesn't matter if it's a girl's name,
Yeah.
and also if it is a girl's name, it was my grandmother's name.
Yeah. She passed it down to you, if anything.
She did.
So yeah, with
God rest her soul.
with the Stranger Things, it was like I got rockers, and I was kind of like, okay, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
So
You lucked out.
yeah, I know, right? So I was like, I didn't really mind because either one, like, I would have dressed up in
When
neon
you
if that
say
was
rockers,
yeah,
80s rockers,
like 70s, 80s rockers.
not Grease.
No,
Right,
not
okay,
Grease.
because that's rockers.
Because that would be Greasers.
Is that Greasers?
That's the whole fucking term.
No, but aren't rockers? You know, like mods and rockers. Aren't rockers a little bit like Greasers, or like?
I feel like we're mixing.
along?
I feel like we're mixing. We're mixing because like mods and rockers is more of a British thing.
Oh, yeah, but one.
Whereas I feel like being a greaser is like a very American thing.
Right. Okay. But they were
Slight differences.
It's the leather jackets and the black leather jackets. Stuff like that is like okay, fair enough. Okay, rockers, yeah, I'm on board.
So yeah, but the
You lucked out
I
massively.
did luck out,
That is
but I
literally-
wouldn't have been bothered if it was like
No.
I had to be yuppie or something. You know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bothered. It wouldn't have bothered me.
No, it's fun either way. But that is very much your.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for this one, you very much style.
true.
You were very much.
Honestly,
rocker
it was like I was playing the same kind of character,
Yeah.
but just without a wig.
some space stuff.
Just without a big because me and Sean had so I had a blonde wig,
Oh, okay.
like it was more of like a blonde Axl Rose, like
Yeah, I was
big
gonna
perm
say
hair,
Axl Rose. Yeah.
blonde wig.
Yeah.
And Sean had a again curly hair, but like really big, kind of like
Slash.
yes, it was he looks exactly like Slash without a top hat. So
And actually had a face.
so his identity is revealed after all these years.
Sean Cornell
Yeah.
is Slash.
Yeah. And honestly, it looks like his real hair, whereas mine was like most definitely a wig.
Yeah.
His was. It was like if you've never met him, you're like, oh wow, that is a choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I feel like his was just it suited him perfectly down to the ground, and I was just I feel the dress up for Stranger Things was maybe like a little bit more fun because it was like Earth. I know that sounds really weird.
Yeah,
but-
no, I get it. Yeah,
because it's a time just before we were born,
and it's literally possibly one of our favorite eras.
Yeah. So the
My favorite era, actually, but I know it's
the
your
80s.
favorite era. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For film and TV.
Oh yeah.
And
Undoubtedly.
and in regards to how we remember it,
Yeah,
rather
well,
than like the thing
We don't remember it.
we don't. But I mean, like how it is portrayed. Sorry.
Yes.
How
Well,
it's
Stranger Things,
represented to us is very much.
like we said in the Stranger Things podcast, Stranger Things is the visual representation of people who remember the 80s. It's not exactly how it was.
Yeah. And that's why I love it. Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like the dressing up for the Stranger Things was my favourite in terms of like dress up.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of I'd say Star Wars and then Guardians of the Galaxy, not to take anything away from Guardians, because they do give you a lot more choice. Whereas when they have the kind of recommended for you, say you're doing your profile or you're doing your character, which you do for each one, like we said.
In the weeks to build up to it.
Yeah, so with Star Wars, the first one we did, it was like, you get 4 choices, and these are what like we recommend you look like, so you can kind of recognise who's in your.
Oh no, it
group.
was a particular bandana. Which You got the color. You had got a different color bandana. We had a red one.
What for Star Wars?
Yeah, it was like there was a red, a black, a brown, something like that, and it was like
yes.
depending on which one you had, they knew what you were. That's what
I mean, they do color visualization for all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe not Stranger Things because it's more about a look.
Yeah,
but because it's easier to kind of differentiate.
you could tell who's exactly.
But the other two, this is totally on us because these are the ones that we picked, but they're both space, and it's like, okay, space, like you said, space mercenary, space person,
yeah.
There was obviously more choice with Guardians because it's gone a little bit further. They were like, well, actually, we'll even split the space look into like this kind of weird, like alien inspired more than anything. And then this one, like we were Flaming Raiders.
Yeah.
They are the Stranger Things like gang.
They were basically Strange Things. Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of denim, lots of bandanas, lots of like band t-shirts or boots, big boots. I know a lot of the things kind of could have been.
They were all kind of similar-ish. There was very well like even the gear that you could buy. But they had this one had a shop from them, an online shop in the build up to it that you could use.
I feel like 4 of the groups were very similar.
Yeah,
and then there was 2 others
that were just out of left field. Yeah.
Which is good. Like, I mean,
that.
It's hard because a lot of the visual cue is from the film in which you're basing your world. So
there's a lot of red.
Yeah.
And I think the most popular one there was the Spanners, the red one.
Spanners, yeah.
And even the characters were all dressed in the red. Like, one thing, having, and I'm sure I couldn't think of anything clever enough to say. That might even, again, into the advice section of it, keep in mind, odds are, because of the Raiders, as you see them in the thing, a lot of people tend to go towards the red. So if you wanted to be a bit different,
red or orange,
maybe pick a different group other than red.
Yeah,
you want to balance it out a bit. But all the merch was very similar. The stuff you could buy before, because what you do is
lots of straps.
Before you started it, they gave us. You essentially do because there was 2 name things, wasn't there? Was the first name thing actually part of the thing, or is it just something we did?
So the when you create a profile, obviously once you've bought your tickets, you'll be able to go to the website and start your character creation.
Yeah.
When you choose your first name and you upload a picture, that's really, this is kind of spoilery, but it's not really that spoilery. That only comes up really when you're going around the locations, and they've got like screens, and like on the screens it says like the galaxy's most wanted, and it just has like your name and the picture you uploaded.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I didn't see mine.
I didn't see mine.
I think I saw Harry's or someone's.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was like I like looked and it was there, and as I turned back, it was gone. Do you know what I mean?
That's cool. I like that thing. No, but remember weeks before we did the thing when it was our birthday, and was that just something?
That was just something that they posted on Instagram, I think. Or just
so
something I found.
It was something they posted.
I don't know if it was even them. I feel like it was just something I saw.
But it was like a play on the. So this wasn't actually part of it at all. But if you did want to do something, I think it was basically a taser face joke, essentially.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Getting your name from your date of birth.
Yeah, and it was like your date of birth and your birth and the month you were born or something like that. But and then properly weeks later, you get given the thing. You go into your profile, set up a photo, and they do a randomly generated name, and then you can change it if you want to. But you pick your clan out of the 6 clans.
You can change your clan though.
You can change it if you want to as well. Yeah.
But we'll get to that when we talk about spoilers.
We found out early on because one of our friends double checked,
which is good.
Although I don't think it was the case anyway.
Don't think it was necessary.
But she asked if we picked different clans, because at one point we were going to all pick a clan and not tell each other until the day.
Yeah.
And then she wasn't sure if that meant that we got split up, because obviously we didn't want to be split up. We wanted to be on different teams. We didn't want to be split up. And so she double checked, and they said the recommended thing was that if you want to stick together, then recommended picking the same clan. And we were like, oh, okay.
I can understand. I can understand why they might say yes.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think that was our experience.
No, because we went with 2 others that weren't ours, and we saw them as much.
We did see.
And you were always mixed. There was people of all others. Like it was all you're all in one area, aren't you? With all of these things, you're in one area. So you're never like separate. So one advice.
I mean, there's a few different.
Don't worry too much about who being on different clans to your mates, and it might be quite interesting actually. But
I'd say if there's just 2 or 3 of you, maybe stay in the same.
I wouldn't either. Why?
No, yeah, definitely. If there's 2 of you, definitely stay in the same clan.
Because you've got to go
3. If it was more than 3, then it's like, well, you could have 2 of you going off one way.
With all of these things, with all of these secret cinemas, you basically have tasks and meet points and
interacting with
beats
characters.
you've got to hit. Yeah, interact. And they've planted these characters, and Yeah, it can be if you're on a separate faction in any of these things. This would be with the Star Wars one as well. Your paths will divert a little bit if you're not the same thing. But if there's a few of you, maybe split into twos, something like that.
One of the best things that happened with Secret Cinema when we did Stranger Things was that our class, our year, was obviously tasked with doing certain things. I feel like they gave us a couple of bullet points to start off with, which they didn't do for this one. Or it was just easier to kind of start the experience. I know it sounds really weird, but the Strange Things one was a little bit easier because I feel like we either went in and immediately as you come in, there was like a meeting point for your year. There'd be someone there, and then they would tell you what to do first, or like where to go first. And then that just kind of kicks you off. But the best thing that happened was, so from Stranger Things, one of the locations was Murray's house. You know, where it's like it's basically like a garage, isn't it? And you needed a password to get in. And only certain year classes were given the password as like part of their journey. This is to my knowledge. I might be totally wrong, but this is what we kind of gathered as we were doing it. And someone who was there not in our class told us the password, me and Sean, to get in. So, I mean, it's amazing recreation of what it looked like from the show. Honestly, it looked exactly one for one like it. And so everyone's told to like come in and sit down, and then me and Sean are like right at the back, and we sit on the sofa, and there's like him in the chair opposite, and it's like we're not supposed to be there. And he's like telling us all this stuff, and me and Sean are just looking at each other like this doesn't make any sense to what we're doing. Like, you know, what path we're on. And then he like asks us questions, and we're just like such intruders. Do you know what I mean? We're just like, yeah, sure, this. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're just, you know, when you just repeat what someone said back, back to them, and then just add a little bit on. It was like that, and everyone in there. It was so surreal because like everyone in there was dressed differently. And then there's just us two, just like, yep, we belong here. Yes,
we're one of you.
Yes, we are on the right track.
Hour 2, we have immersed ourselves.
Our story, Murray, you, me, and this guy. Yeah. So that was one of the best things where we were definitely not where we were supposed to be. And usually that's when the best stuff kind of happens. Or like some of the good stuff happens in Secret Cinema. Where you stumble across something.
Just break narrative.
Yeah, definitely.
Anytime you go to these things, do something to break narrative a little bit. Feel free to get a bit kooky. Obviously don't attack a fucking anyone.
Don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy, but just break like let's say you're supposed to do this, maybe go do that.
Yeah, and obviously here's the thing: be a bit of a yes man. Like when you go in, you just got to be like yes.
You do have to be a bit of a yes man. Yeah, like they very much with these things try and get you. Like they're playing a role, and they're like you might not be comfortable with it, some of that, but they try and like you can see the frustration in their faces, in the actors' faces, when they're trying to get something from you, and you're like, what are you doing?
Quite a few of those I saw. Not later on, early on. Early on, people getting involved, they're more just like, what's going on over here?
But if they get you to try and sing and dance, just sing and dance. If they want you to like, if they're engaging you as a character, try your best. Obviously, not everyone's comes natural to everyone, but just do your best to be a little bit like. Do you like a good tip? Just repeat what they said back to them. Only a bit louder and add something.
Just agree and like if they're saying to go somewhere, go there. You know, they're trying to help you at the end of the day, even if they say they're not like their character's not. They're trying to get you involved, and it's just you know the best way to get the experience is to just you have to go head first.
It's opposite land. You're the dick for not being the outgoing. Enigmatic thing. Like normally you don't like everyone's like if you're kind of like a bit more of an introvert sort of thing like that, you're fine. You're not the loud one. You're not annoying anyone in this environment. Maybe be a bit loud. Loud. You're not a dickhead for not doing it, but also just get involved, man. You've gone along to this thing. Get your money's worth.
Get the fucking money's worth.
Get your money's worth. Like
it's here's the thing.
It's very much you get out of it what you put.
Yeah, 100%. I mean I'd say so. The ticket price for our live experience and our watching the film afterwards, I feel like for events that are happening in London these days was a pretty good price. It wasn't too high, but it also wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap,
it's right in that sweet spot.
Yeah, it is a London experience. You won't do anything like this.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing else like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's loads of places that are trying to copy it now.
I mean, there's other places that are copying it, and it's fine. But at the end of the day, that one isn't like that one.
Yeah. I don't feel like they invented immersive theatre.
No,
it's more like they incorporated film, and they did it on such a large scale, and it's just been like they just nailed it. So.
They perfected it.
Yeah, they perfected it. Yeah.
They perfected it. But you've now got you had the Doctor Who time fracture thing, which you enjoyed, but you still wasn't quite secret cinema level.
I mean, it couldn't have been it's just.
I thought it would have been something like that.
It was great, and it was just a little bit. It was a little bit the only slight negatives I'd say about secret cinema were exacerbated a little bit in time fracture. Like there wasn't it wasn't as cohesive story wise and leading you to the next bit or letting you explore or explaining where to go next.
That's kind of interesting considering
there needs to be a bit of a guide, but there was not too much of that.
That's interesting because time fracture's whole thing is that there's all these different narratives going on. You'd think they'd have a bit more of a structure.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it wasn't good.
No,
it just means that a lot of the time when you're having the kind of big group with characters experiences, they were great, but they were a little bit fleeting and they were a little bit like once that happened, they might be like, oh, go this way, and then this happens. And after, there's a bit of a breakdown, I felt.
Yeah, okay.
And then towards the end, it was really great. And there's so much good things about it. And, right at the end was just, as theatrical as you'd expect from an immersive Doctor Who experience.
Yeah.
So, these things, I feel like...
There's a Stranger Things one now, isn't there?
The intent is there for these things.
Yeah.
But there's just a little bit of streamlining that's needed for the ones that aren't secret cinema.
Yeah.
I feel like they need that's the best way I could describe it, is they need streamlining a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
so there are other things like this.
Yeah.
But there's nothing they aren't like this. But secret cinema are very much the leading ones for this sort of thing to do it for you. Yeah. And again, everyone will be different.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be, and you won't know based on what you've done 3 now, I've done 2. You won't know what to expect before the day because it's very much kind of what the film permits. But also they get quite creative as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very impressive the things they do with it. You'll notice you'll notice the money, but it's money well spent.
Money well spent.
I think definitely money well spent. I will continue to do these. And is it 1 a year? Is it still just 1 a year?
I think they are up to 2 a year.
They're up to 2 a year.
Yeah, because I feel they were doing 2 a year. Even before COVID, I think they're back to doing 2 a year now. But one definitely for the summer, and then one for spring or winter.
But they're even that though. We won't know that one until it's released, right?
They usually the anticipation for this one was like they started the tickets in like May.
Yeah,
and it started in September.
So realistically,
the last day of August was their first one.
And what's their last day?
I think it's November.
Oh, okay. So maybe looking at like Jan before we find out what the next one is.
Yeah, or probably one of the better ways to do it. I don't know if they will do it like this, but this is just what I think is whilst it's on its run, whilst it's probably in the middle or coming towards the end, is probably just to
good sounds remote. Yeah,
do a teaser and then as soon as it finishes, be like, oh, come back for the next world, which is. XYZ.
Yeah, I'd like to see it'd be interesting to see what they do next.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't think it'll be Marvel again.
No, I feel like again we said that this is a self-contained universe. It gives room for expansion, exploration, but it also is not bogged down by a lot of movies.
Turtles.
Right.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay. Just
that could work.
Well, if it was the original,
that's what I'm talking about. So no,
and the underground base, where all the
foot,
all the ruffians live.
Yeah.
All the runaway kids.
The foot.
That's it. Yeah.
Foot Clan. Yeah.
That'll be the main.
And
because it's literally just a big kids palace.
Yeah, but you can have their sewer bit as well.
I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen, bro. But
no, I know.
Fantasy
but
booking is great.
That'd be a brilliant one. I know. Yeah, obviously, I don't mean Michael Bay. I mean, I'm talking.
Obviously not.
I'm talking 90s Ninja Turtles. That'd be cool. I mean, how hard can it be to get those costumes?
Also, there's loads of places in London that are run down and derelict, so don't really have to do much. Just a risk assessment and then
put some fences up,
generators for electricity. That's it.
You just join a Foot Clan
because do South London, massive shithole, isn't it? So
yeah, good work. Any fantasy pictures for you?
Fantasy pictures for me. Here's the thing: a lot of people are like. I think we've already said it. Is like Lord of the Rings. As much as I would like that, I feel like it's so.
I don't know how they do it.
It's so out there.
I don't know how they do it.
The fantasy world, right, is like fantasy stuff is kind of hard. Sci-fi is kind of easier.
Yeah, Blade Runner's another one they did, isn't it?
Yeah, Blade Runner and Alien.
Very good. Alien they've
with
done.
An N.
Blade Runner was probably the one. Blade Runner was the one before COVID.
No, it wasn't.
I think there was the one between.
Blade Runner was ages ago.
Was it 2 years before COVID? 2018.
So they've done 28 Days Later, which was in 2016, which was after Star Wars.
That's after one, yeah.
Don't know how we missed that one.
We missed quite a few. We missed Moulin Rouge.
Oh yeah, you're right. Blade Runner Final Cut. Oh my god, that was spring 2018.
That one was similar. I've spoken to my boss, my old boss. His wife knows the people that run it.
Oh, nice.
And so he kind of like he got to go. He basically got tickets for the Blade Runner one, and it was a bit like the Back to the Future where you're assigned a thing. And I think his was businessman or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So you get like a what you turn up as sort of thing, and and you get that kind of aspect to it. Or would it maybe you get like a whether you're a replica or not? That'd be interesting.
What of guns? Get replicas of what?
No,
one of the roles is a replicant.
Yeah, maybe you get whether you get told whether you're a replica or something.
Oh, interesting. I like that aspect where
I don't know if you did. I'm just guessing at that bit. I don't know.
Could you imagine? That is such a great idea. Because what I want them to do is obviously they've done Blade Runner. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But then do Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit like cop out, but it also it's still a different film.
Yeah.
Still the same world, and they can just build on what they learned from the first one, I guess. And that would be a great idea where it's like one kind of underlying mini game for the whole thing is you are told whether you're a replicant or not. You have to keep it a secret if you are, and it can all lead to replicants versus like with the way that it's laid out for this one. I won't quite go into detail yet, but the way it's laid out for this one could be like a bit of like a scoreboard balance.
Yeah, where
it's like if X amount of replicants are found out, that team loses.
Yeah,
so it's like it could be humans versus replicants. It's like an underlying mini game of the whole experience.
Altered Carbon would be another good one, but it's very similar to Blade Runner.
Yeah,
that's a TV show. You've not really seen that, have you?
I've seen the first series. I really liked it.
I've only seen the first season. Yeah.
But it is Blade Runner.
It's Blade Runner.
So,
yeah. There's a
What else? So what I said is like sci-fi a little bit easier to curate because a lot of it is set on Earth or in space, and that's already got an aesthetic that is quite well known. With fantasy, it's I feel like the production value has to be really high for it not to be really tacky.
Yeah.
So when people, which I agree, I'd be interested to see what a Lord of the Rings one is. It's not on my top because I honestly think the budget would have to be astronomical.
I don't think it's possible.
No?
No.
It's the same for me for The Witcher. As much as I'd love, I know they're very similar.
Yeah.
But in terms of looks, fantasy.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to see it, and because of they've got a bit of a partnership going with Netflix. I mean, that's why I'm thinking, that's probably a good idea. Netflix property, next one XYZ, and but yeah, the budget would have to be huge.
Yeah,
which just means the ticket prices are going to be
high as well. Yeah,
understandably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like
I don't know if fantasy would work.
It's kind of weird because it's not like you could be like wielding swords and shields,
no,
and crossbows and stuff.
No.
Whereas in things like this and with Star Wars, even though that's very pew pew,
yeah,
and evidently because we bought weapons,
yeah,
you don't need them,
no,
for the
the aesthetic,
yeah. Whereas I feel like
you kind of do
with that kind of fantasy, it's kind of more part of it, and you're going to miss out on that because you can't just have 1,000 people in a warehouse in London,
swords and even
just
with fake
swords
and shields. It's like Comic-Con.
I know they
honestly,
do.
Comic-Cons are dangerous enough. Like
a danger zone.
A danger zone.
I feel like with those suggestions, I feel like they're pretty easy ones though, because they're huge. They're huge IPs, and what I'm looking for. Even though they've gone for Marvel here with Guardians of the Galaxy, they've gone for Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like a sub-genre of Marvel.
Yeah.
That's why I'd look for. They've done Star Wars. I know as much as I'd love to do it again. I don't know how, and also I wouldn't want them to do the sequel trilogy, which is what they would. No, they'd be so tempted to do because it's more recent.
I know. Prequel would be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see that happening again.
No.
That's fine. It's a big property.
So far, they haven't, apart from doing Dirty Dancing twice.
Yeah, which I don't think was their fault. Like,
I think it was because of COVID.
Yeah, I think so. Even that, I don't like. That's. It's like with certain shows. It's like I'm not going to certain things in the West End because I know it's probably not my cup of tea. I like Dirty Dancing, the film, but.
Yeah.
I'm not really like I'm not a super fan that I'm thinking I've got to go to lots of secret cinema.
But I think they don't seem to revisit. That's what I'm saying. So I think they've done Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Guardians is probably as close as they're getting to doing Star Wars again.
As much as I'm disappointed that I missed Back to the Future and Blade Runner and
Moulin
Alien.
Rouge.
All of these things, except for, like we said with Blade Runner, they have got another film, so they could rework
I don't know if they would.
But yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind if they. I'm not going to huff and puff if they don't. I'm more excited to see what new stuff they're going to do.
Yeah.
So with Secret Cinema, what do I think is next? I feel like something that will be not like super niche, but something that is not as big as Star Wars or Marvel.
The Boys?
See, the thing with The Boys is that it's... I feel like a lot of people mistake The Boys as a good superhero show, when in fact it's taking the piss.
Yeah.
When it's like, superheroes are stupid.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, The Boys, great, I love The Boys.
Yeah.
When you're supposed to really... From the mouth of the creator, you're supposed to be like superheroes are stupid.
Yeah.
So there'll be loads of people who, unironically, who are like dressing up as Homelander, or Homelander supporters, not getting that they're, it's a critique on like far right worship. Far right token worshipping.
Yeah.
So there'll be lots of like missing the point of the show, and it's not really something that you should be like super celebrating. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas superheroes in Marvel are like, they're doing good. Like, this is what the
ideology,
the good ideology
of a hero,
like The Boys is obviously, this is without even scratching the surface, The Boys is the total antithesis. So
it's
I
not
feel
the
like
reality.
If you say The Boys, I'd be like, no, because everyone in The Boys, except for like a couple of characters, are horrible.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be like, like you know, I can imagine like some of the stuff that's going to go down. Like, if they had The Boys secret cinema, everyone would be leaving there just covered in blood and guts, and there'd be so many traumatized like tweens and you know people under the age of 25. They'd just be like, oh my god, what just happened? And there's, you know, they've seen some unspeakable shit go down at the secret cinema of The Boys. So I don't think that should be happening.
Maybe not. Maybe don't have because there's gonna be, because if you did The Boys, I don't know how you'd resist not doing the superhero orgy.
Honestly, mate, they'd have to go deprived, otherwise people would just be like, well, that was a waste of money.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, maybe not. But there's some good source materials out there.
Honestly, I feel like we do need to kind of, as much as it would be tempting, because obviously it is so popular, and I know we've talked about it quite a bit already, with Marvel, I feel like it'll be hard to nail down, because a lot of some live action stuff that they do, a lot of it they do at like Disney, so it's like something that already exists. You know, secret cinema aren't really in the business of like, they've got these people playing live action heroes and doing live action theatre at Disneyland Paris. Yeah, we'll do the same, but like charge people just for this experience. In the same, that's not their thing.
In the same respects, there's I think it's in LA or something. There's a Gotham. It's like an immersive. You can go to like a Gotham, and they've got like it's an immersive sort of experience. And it's like there's Harley Quinn owns a shop. There's like that sort of thing going on. So there's an immersive DC experience. I think it's at Universal or something like that.
Also, I feel like them guys over at Secret Cinema,
those guys over at Secret Cinema,
the people who running Secret Cinema are massive cinephiles. So I feel like doing another Marvel or doing something as mainstream. I'd say. I was about to say large scale, but all of it's large scale, which is great. But something so mainstream is probably, I feel like they have to walk a fine line, because I feel like they themselves wouldn't be happy with what they're doing. If it was literally just like Marvel, and then Star Wars, and then Marvel, and then more Star Wars.
Well, you think which
is literally all that cinema is.
The films so far have been. I guess this one is probably. I know Star Wars is pretty mainstream, and Guardians.
It's pretty mainstream,
But it's also been Moulin Rouge, Aliens. Back to the Future again, mainstream, but
Back to the Future is a huge movie. Let's not be.
No,
but
it's not mainstream. It's just a timeless classic. It's always going to be there. That sort of thing. It's popular, but it's not like we're not being. It's not Back to the Future content.
It's not like 3 Disney Plus spin-offs of Back to the Future. The Doc spin-off, Einstein shorts, the dog, and. Who else? I don't know. Just like, what's his mum's name? Like Lorraine, the early years.
Or one just follows around his girlfriend, what she does. Like,
What
Marty just coming in and out of her life, I think.
What Marty's girlfriend does for the kind of afternoon that he's gone missing. That she doesn't know he's gone missing because he's gone back in time, and he just comes straight back.
This kind of falls into.
Let's not manifest this, by the way.
No. It could be done really well, but it also sort of falls into the same sort of category as The Boys. It'd be interesting to see a Rick and Morty one.
Yeah,
that would be quite.
It'd be weird because it is animated, but then if they can do,
I don't think that.
I know Arcan is animated, but it's like good animation. Like
it's amazing animation.
Yeah, I know. I knew what I was saying.
This is like the mad thing. Sorry, just a bit tangent. The mad thing, you haven't seen Arcane. That's the thing as well. Arcane, maybe they'll bring it over here.
Yeah, I think so.
But the mad thing you haven't seen it is you're a bit of an animated animatophile. You love your animated shit.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to do it at one point.
To a degree,
you like Pixar. Like you.
Obviously. Who doesn't like Pixar?
You're a big fan of animated.
That's like saying
stuff.
Someone likes music.
No, it's not that. No, you have very much as one of those people that's like do enjoy animated and the art behind it and all that sort of thing. You're fascinated by it. So to not seen Arcane is absolutely insane.
I'll remedy it by the end of the year.
Yeah. It'd be nice. It's
Got
not
to give
even
me
long.
time.
It's not even long. I think it's like 10 episodes. But yeah, so it'd be, as I said, we've done this before. We can predict, try and guess which one, and then
we're just like pitching the ideas.
We won't guess it.
No,
It'll be a film we know. It'll always be a film that people know because obviously they have to market it in some way.
They've got, I believe they've got like you can buy shares in it now. So I'm pretty sure that means like you have to answer to you have to market that product to the widest net.
Even with that, the shares you have to. It needs to. You want to do this thing, you got to make money like to do it again, and that's fine. But it will be a film we all know. But then we'll be like, never thought of that.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. How are they gonna? I wonder how they're gonna do. And then always the next question is, how are they gonna do that?
Yeah,
what's that gonna look like? And it delivers. It's good. It delivers.
I mean, like you said, it'll be something that was always on the tip of your tongue that you'd think of, but you didn't. No. You didn't pitch that idea.
No, not at all. And it'd be like, of course. That's
of course. Right. Should that be all right for? I mean, we've done like an hour.
I think it doesn't have to be a long one because this one's going to be split in two. So I think it's almost like a mini episode. Yeah. So minus this bit.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
Maybe do a sign off.
Yeah, I'll put that in later. But the so for the actual. So now going into spoiler territory, let's talk about like a little bit of the lead up and then actually the actual experience.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So obviously we've talked about the creating your character. That's all stuff that Secret Cinema have been doing each and every project. So, and we've also said that you're split into clans in this one.
Yeah.
Into roles in others. This one is clans. I feel like with the aesthetic of the film, it's absolutely like nailed on. Like they
picked the right aspects.
Ravager clans is like a no-brainer. I feel like it probably took them about 30 seconds to come up with like a little bit of the framework.
Yeah, and it was the perfect.
They were like Ravagers in clans competing against each other for points.
Yeah.
And it must have just been like, right, from there you can create the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these, we said earlier in the non-spoilery section that we had three of my friends that, who were in a different clan.
They're in
the Galaxy Spanners. The clan that won as well.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I think there was more of them.
I mean, it's fixed. It's totally fixed. I don't think it was fair fight at all.
Well, how's it fixed? There's more.
Look, I'm just gonna put it out there, right? This is just gonna be like a little rant about why we didn't win. I'm not being a sore loser. I'm just telling you how it is. All right, we won so many of the 50,000 point relics. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
We won. Our team, not just like us, but we did win a few. Our team, Flaming Raiders for Life, won at least 4 out of 8. So, and we still lost. We still came third.
We did. It was 50,000 per relic. How many did we lose, though, did we?
Right, okay. And I don't know who you're talking about, this we. Like, there's only one person.
Ride or die, man. Like, it's a we all rise together or we demise together.
Oh, okay.
So there was a...
So I'm going to start from the beginning before we get to...
Because it's a very good place to start.
Yeah, I know. So the beginning, you are obviously You arrive at the place. And
by this point, you've had the week's build up.
Yeah,
just to cover that bit. You had the week's build up. You chose your name. You picked your clan.
Yeah.
You bought your merch from either their store or you get an idea.
Do it yourself.
You can just. What's quite good is they've got a picture of each clan. You can pick out. To be honest, I don't even dress towards the aesthetic that's kind of like you just get sci-fi in your head. Yeah. Make sure you had the right colours on you and you're good. I had a cut off bomber jacket, so it wasn't even that thing. You did the sleeveless
cut off
denim
my sleeves of an old jacket that I had.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
It was just
wore the wrong colour t-shirt.
I did. I wore a red t-shirt.
It took me half the day to realise that you were in the wrong colour.
So I technically won. No, but it had an orange sun in it. That's the only reason why I bought it.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And I wanted to get it in black, but then the orange. So obviously black and orange.
It would have stood out.
But the only one I could get was red.
But you get your goggles. You get a bit. You can get creative with it. This one in particular, you didn't have to go by the pictures. You just dressed some sci-fi and make sure you had some of the right colours on you. They also recommended, and it's the idea is it plays into the story of like the Guardians of the Galaxy saved the universe using distraction tactics, and these distraction tactics were, and it's like dancing. It gives you a dance. It gives you a song, which is one of Peter Quill's awesome mix.
Yep.
And then they recommend you bring treasures from Terra to trade.
Yep.
And things along from like tape cassettes, CDs.
Yeah.
Posters of your heroes, figurines, like because of like Yandu. That sort of thing. You bring all those along. So we stocked up on that kind of thing. Quick trip for myself to the charity shop.
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
$5, 15 CDs.
Yeah,
and you had to, but if you bought, you had to sell the idea of the object. So you get Elvis Presley. You tell them a silly story about who he is, rather than, and then if you get really creative, let's not tell him it's Elvis Presley. It'd be like, it's a famous bard from Terra, a warrior bard or some stuff like that. That's what
creative.
That was my go-to for all of them. They pulled out anytime they pulled out the CD, it was like Destiny's Child came out, Survivor. Like 3 muse bards from every time, which was like 4 or 5 warrior bards. I was just like, they bards.
Everyone's a warrior.
Everyone's a warrior bard.
So and those you can trade those in and goes towards points.
It goes to points. So your units turned out to be points. So that one,
and a lot of stuff you do. So when we got in, we got past the one of the things I thought was pretty low key compared to prior was the entrance.
Yeah,
because I know this is a bit different, especially in terms of scale. Was the Star Wars one, where for the Star Wars one, it was like being at Disney. It was like where you sat down in.
Was it crouched, didn't we?
No. So for the leaving Earth.
Oh you
literally got into a big hall and they had like a massive screen which looked like a visor of like a starship.
Yeah.
And they had the graphics of like the spaceship leaving Earth, going light speed and arriving on Tatooine.
Yeah.
It was so much like Star Tours at Disney or something to that on an even bigger scale.
Yeah.
That I was like, I wonder how they. I mean, I expected them to do a similar thing.
Yeah.
But it was like you stand in a room for 45 seconds. I thought that was the only thing that I was like, that was pretty naff.
Yeah. The guy comes over the screen.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ravager thing. And was it the idea it was taking place on Earth? No, it was supposed to be taking place.
Yeah. And then there was, bit of bass. Play a bit of bass loud, like we're leaving Earth.
It basically felt like a rave for about 30 seconds.
Yeah. And so I was like, the comparison is chalk and cheese. It's actually not that great. But once you go in, you're greeted with where were we? We were in nowhere, weren't we?
No, you start off in against the sea. I've forgotten the name of the place now.
Contraxia.
There we go. You start off on Contraxia, which is in the films.
Is it in the first one? No. I feel like some of these are just. I feel like these are some of the things where we're just. They're like mentioned.
Yeah, I think they're in the second one. I think Andraxia might be where the Ravagers are in the second one.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's sort of like that, and it's like a bit of a nightclub kind of vibe. San Miguel made it in space. Just
Space Miguel, if anything.
Space Miguel, they did well.
But this is when it got more like the secret cinema feeling. Unfortunately, with the beginning being a bit, not bad, but just like
it's anticlimactic.
It is anticlimactic, just in comparison to other things we've experienced.
Done, yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's not off to the best start. But the after that, it was as soon as it opened up, we were quite early. We were like one of the early entries.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And
it felt, once you walked in, it was cool. It felt like you felt like you were in a street in like the kind of almost like club aspect of Contraxia, that sort of thing, like the dancers and stuff. It was good. It was very good. Yeah.
Started off with a face tattoo.
Yeah, straight in, get a face tattoo.
I was under the impression that would get you points, but that didn't.
I think that was just an immersive thing.
So, I mean, bit of a waste, but got to get involved. I'm not saying it was a waste. I'm just like,
sometimes you got to try things.
That should have been counted towards our total.
Yeah,
otherwise I would have got about 10.
We got some points early on because very much Guy came up. One of the characters that they've made up.
Fireball.
Not Fireball, no. That was later on. This is you guys might have been doing the face tattoo, but came up to me, Sean, and Harry, and got it was the tall guy in the Peter Quill get up.
Kraglin, the guy who's played by James Gunn's brother.
Yeah,
is
that who that guy was supposed to be?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
That's because he's dressed like that at the end of the second film.
Right, I just thought it was Peter Quill cosplay. No. That's okay, cool. Yeah. I did not get that because you said you spoke to Kragan. You said you spoke to Kragan. I'm like, I didn't see him anywhere. But no, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so he came up to us and was sort of like, where'd you guys... Basically, it led to, if you guys got anything, and we whacked out some CDs.
He had the booth, didn't he? That booth is where he was coming back to it. So right next to the face tattoo parlour.
Yeah, there was like a DJ... Essentially a DJ booth.
It's basically like it's like a mini exchange.
Yeah.
But they're not there the whole time.
No, it was just, I think it was like an early thing just to get people in, and he made us sing 5 Fiver. Who is Fiver? Who are these Fiver? And we had to explain who Fiver were. And then made it, and Harry sold them as an operatic sing group from Earth, from Terran, and he said, "Can you sing some of their stuff?" So Harry. We had to push him into it a bit, but he did it eventually with me and Sean on backup singing "Everybody Get Up Now" opera style, and that got us 6,000 points.
That's
units.
Good. Yeah.
That was quite nice early on. You're like, okay, this is how this goes. Yeah. This is how this goes.
When you realise how the game's played, that's when the light bulb switches on.
Yeah, you start getting involved. But and then we went next door, and it was a bit like you had to go. He was the one that then guided us where to go. It's like, right, because at that point we were not wandering aimlessly, but we're like, shit, we've got to find our captains of our team, but have no idea where to go.
They should have had the captains in that
first area.
Yeah. That's what they did for Stranger Things. They had like I don't know, like just a character who was like, class of 73 this way. And it's like they're all in this one circular bit, which they should have just done for. Yeah,
it was a bit like the first bit was a bit like shit. Where do we go? Kind of like it was a lot to take in. It was good, but it was a bit like shit. We don't actually know where to go.
And the clock is ticking.
That's the thing as well. You're watching the board, like, okay, how do we get this board moving? Yeah. And that was the first indication we got the board moving.
That is a good thing that they have the boards everywhere.
So
it's like it's always a talking point as well, like. So you would do something or you'd go somewhere and then the next thing you know, the board is completely changed.
Yeah.
Because everyone in there is trying to get points. And it's so chaotic because it's like, it was just great, that's not a negative.
It to be. No, it was exactly what it wanted to be. I think we got in, then you've got like a transport pod, or I don't know what it's supposed to be. Like basically you walk through this lit up epileptic hallway.
Yeah.
And that led to nowhere, which is where the Battle of the Clans thing was taking place.
Yep.
There, that wrestling ring
Yep.
That was one of the first things we did when we got in there, and it was they'd done their own rock paper scissors.
That was so funny. Like
with Harry competing in that.
It is so
nearly won.
It's so weird that the smallest things are like the funniest. Like,
yeah.
So we're both queuing to get in, and then the guy who's like, I guess he's the
host.
Yeah, the host of the
bald guy, right? Yeah.
So he's asking you what clan you're in, and then so Harry goes in first, and then he's like, "Nah, we're gonna do one per clan because we're gonna do this game." And obviously we've just got drinks at this point, so we were queuing up, and then so I've got like Harry's got his drink, I've got mine, and he's like, "No drinks." So I take Harry's, and he's in this ring. So he's gone in there, and as the host or the ringmaster or whatever is got his back turned, I just like pass him the drink back, and he's like sneaking a little sip of like beer. He's like, oh, he's turning around and like gives it back to me, and it's played a rock paper scissors alternative. Rock paper scissors off the galaxy.
Can't remember what it's called now.
No, not gonna lie. But no, that's part of it. Is like, you think, oh, it's basically rock paper scissors, but you ain't got a clue what beats what because you forgot what this means.
Is, and it's like it was just 3
one
different
was
species.
One was like a laser
sword.
Yeah.
Cronin.
Yeah. I don't know.
That
was like
that's what Korg is.
Yeah. That's
Cronin.
what it was like.
Krogan or Krogan.
Krogan, yeah. Can't remember what the last one was.
Krogan, something else.
Krogan.
And then I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah.
And it was very much like a wave your hands sort of thing like that. And Harry just kept throwing the same shape.
Yeah,
kept laser swording.
He had a strategy.
Yeah.
And he stuck to it.
Yeah.
I commend him for it.
To go into the final.
Yep.
And then
came second.
Came second.
And then my instinct kicked in. Because I was like, okay, what's the prize? Like, and then he was like, oh, it's 50,000 points.
Yeah.
I was like, holy sugar.
At that point, six. I was impressed with 6.
Yeah.
And then we were like, holy, okay.
And then I see he's got a briefcase. I'm like, right. Every time there's a silver briefcase, that must mean that there's some points to be won.
Which was then confirmed shortly after that because the collector comes out.
Yeah.
And explains that because the chronology of when this took place is after the first Guardians, but before the second. And it's like the idea is that it's its own story. It's nothing to do with this. Is what I mean, where the film they set it up depending on what the film allows. To have followed any of the Guardians films would have been a fucking nightmare. Because it follows 4 characters around and there's a lot of special effects and stuff like that. It just would have been very hard. So instead what they've done is they came up with their own mini story in the middle, Battle of the Clans, of which all these characters do show up. It's on Nowhere. The idea is after the collector's place got blown up, he lost some treasured relics. And he's thrown this party because he wants you to find them, earn the points, and you become Battle of the Clans, beneficial for everyone. He come out and announces that. So now you know, right, briefcases, and each one's got like a weird creature in it, and it's like a prop that they've made. It's and you have to do different tasks for it. And I think the first one was...
No, that was the first one, I think.
There wasn't a briefcase for that, was there?
Yeah, I saw one. That's how I was okay. That's how when I next saw a briefcase.
Oh,
when Fireball won the fight.
Yeah.
He lost a fight to... So our captain, Fireball, shout out, is...
Were they wrestlers, do you reckon?
No, just
actors, really acting, doing fake acting.
So he lost to Gamora, but then he faced off against another clan's...
Leader. Yeah.
I feel like what they do is probably whoever's last, they give the first 50,000 points.
Yeah.
So he won the fight and he took the briefcase with the relic in it to the exchange, which is where people queue up and you can try and exchange your tokens, your I had cassettes and like a little Lego minifigures and stuff. Exchanging those for credits for units, and because of this because he won, he went into because it's like caged off.
Yeah.
They're in there's like a little hatch, and that's where you have to like barter.
Yeah.
And so he got to go into the place where the people were exchanging, where there was no one inside but the person buying. And
that was your first opportunity, wasn't it?
That was the opportunity that I was talking about, where I was literally let in to a place full of people's tokens,
figurines
that they'd exchanged for credits. And, Fireball was doing his deal.
Yeah.
Doing his acting to the person who he was exchanging with. And there was like about 3 or 4 more of us. And then, so the door quickly opened. Fireball, I was right behind Fireball with Sean. And we went straight in. And then there was like 2 or 3 other people there. Like, close the door. And I was just like, right. So they're doing their bit. They're doing their acting. They're doing their exchange, their deal. And I was just, it's like, imagine this. So the camera is cutting between Fireball and the exchange guy. I don't know what you call
trader.
Him. The trader, yeah. And it's going...
Haggler.
Yeah, that's it. The haggler. Yeah, that's it. It was called the haggler. And they're doing their scene. So it's like cutting between Fireball, and they're talking about this relic in this briefcase. And he's like, that's worth like 50,000 units, whatever, for Flaming Raiders. And then you can just see, just in the background, like the camera just like shifts, and I've got like my back turned, and I'm just like filling my pockets. I'm just like stealing everything I can get my hands on. Anything that'll go into that little rucksack bag that you gave me, which I was just like, oh my God, I've got like so much space.
I gave him a bag, that was the mistake.
And I was just like, this is nice. And I got like a little toy pig.
You got a couple of figurines.
Got a few figurines, a couple of tapes.
Yeah.
I was just having a whale of a time.
Yeah.
And I was keeping a close eye out, looking over my shoulder just in case like they'd finished haggling.
Yeah.
And as soon as they did, I was like straighten up, and then like, oh yeah, well done, yeah, Flame Raiders, 50,000 points, like well done, and then just like
perfect example of how to do it well. The perfect example.
Nice little distraction. Thank you, Fireball.
Contrasted shortly after perfectly.
So what we were talking about before, where our team, like from that example, our team won 50,000 points, which at that point in the evening was like a lot.
Put us ahead.
That put us way ahead. And I was like, we got this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was also after I was with, I was either with Harry or Sean. Oh yeah, I was with Sean, and we were watching Yondu with.
No, that was a little bit after.
Was that a little bit after? No, that wasn't after we went in the. That wasn't after we went into the collectors.
It was because you went back again.
Definitely not.
No, it was because I'll tell you why. So we'll do a chronological order.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So we did that.
Like we were reviewing the film.
By this point, you guys were like Fireball's boys. He was like taking you guys around. I don't think there was many orange there, so it was quite easy to be the main ones.
Yeah.
Followed him around. Went where we needed to go with him. He told us to go to this lady who told us about a dance off that was going to happen.
Yeah.
That hadn't happened yet. We then followed him, and he took us into the collector's place.
Yeah.
And we're showing us around the collector's place, and we're going to do a deal with the collector for something. Can't remember what it was. We were going to try and get something for the collector. And we've gone in, and he's showing us the different things and stuff like that. I guess while we were waiting for the collector shop, I didn't see this happen. I was very much engrossed and looking at all the different things.
Well, he had one rule, Fireball, when telling us about meeting the collector.
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
And even me,
touch.
the Mr. I'll take anything,
kleptomaniac himself,
was even I was like, read the room.
Yeah, read the room. And so I guess inspired by you, or some sense of, I don't think they even knew you'd, I don't know. But for some reason, Sam and Harry decided they were going to touch something, and not only touch something, take something.
Yeah.
So one of them grabbed, I didn't see this happen. All I saw was suddenly the collector is grilling Harry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Harry's clearly just passed something behind his back to Sam. while he's grilling Harry, did not clock Sam. Don't know how. Sam worked his way completely around for the situation and ended up behind the collector and had slipped the thing to someone else. I think he even managed to put it back.
Yeah,
they'd managed to put it back. Yeah. By this point, the collector had clocked that he'd taken something. Harry would admit he'd taken something
because he didn't have it anymore.
He didn't have it anymore to give, and he's like, "Look," and then there's a whole like exchange between Fireball and the collector, and the collector's like, "I think your man here needs to get your men in line. Otherwise, how would you think he'd feel about losing 200,000 points?" And we're like,
"We just witnessed us winning 50,000."
Yeah. And it's like, what? So anyway, we lost 200,000 points.
No, we lost 100,000.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I feel like the conversation went 200,000. Fireball was able to get down to 100,000.
Okay. We lost a lot of points for our team. Yeah. The rest of our team would never have known this. No. It was all very much us in this room.
Someone on our side must have just been looking at a scoreboard. We were way ahead.
Yeah.
Way ahead. And they just been like, look, we're way ahead. We'll exchange our stuff later, or we'll be all right. And then just instantly looking at it, seeing that we're in first place, and us going straight to last.
Yeah, it would have been very.
And then we came out of
got kicked out of the collector's place.
Yeah.
Fireball wasn't happy.
Yeah, and we came out, and there was there's like the scoreboard is like huge, obviously, and it's like up and to our right, and it's just you just see it just goes bang. It's just like no.
Following that,
we were like we have to
back to Contraxia.
Yeah,
that's where it was a sing off essentially, wasn't it?
A sing off, but like gibberish.
No, that the gibberish was the final, but it was essentially that people. There was singing classics, and we had to sing classics along.
Yeah.
And then eventually Yondu was running this whole thing. He had a briefcase. It was competition, and he isolated a couple of people, and they had to speak his language of the whole and do basically a gibberish off. Our girl killed it. I think both of them were Flaming Raiders anyway.
They were, so we were guaranteed.
We were guaranteed, but this girl killed it. Had some brilliant yoga pants on. They were just cool as fuck. But she kind of won it. And then, like before, they went with Yondu to the Haggler. You guys went along to the Haggler. Fireball was there, and I remember standing back with Sam and Tommy and being like, I hope they're not standing too close, because we've just been kicked out of a thing with him. And next thing I know, I see you guys part of the exchange again. You're just there very much engrossing yourselves.
I'm always there in the background.
I was like does he even know at this point?
I'm basically just riding on everyone else's coattails. I'm just
it was very much woo.
I'm more just in the background, not super in the I'm getting my face shown.
Yeah.
And then once the coast is clear, I'm going to steal something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, me and this person, 50,000 points, Flaming Raiders. Yeah. And then they'll do the exchange. And that's just a big distraction. That's just a big distraction. I
think you got some more stuff that go around as well.
I did. Someone was exchanging something. I feel like the haggler left it on his little... So he had the little hatch and then it had a little shelf.
Yeah.
And then, because obviously when there's the captains and stuff doing their bit with other characters, they have to kind of stop what they're doing, and do their scene basically, which is and then I feel like someone left that they'd exchanged it for 5,000 points or whatever, and then he's not put it away, and I definitely reached my hand into the cage. And then took something out. I think it was just a small little toy on a little.
And didn't get caught.
Didn't get caught. No.
Didn't get caught. And later traded that thing back in for points.
No, I traded back in something that
you stole the first time. Yeah. So he was stealing and then trading back. So it was
that's when I traded it with.
You reached a whole new level of a high by that point.
I exchanged that with Kraglin. I was like
that's it.
The haggler has already bought this. You could sell it back to him again. And he was just like, "Yep, that's good enough." It was just a little.
Told him that you'd stolen it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think it was a little. Do you know what it was? It was a little doll of a pig that looked like Donald Trump.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
He was the one that told me, and I was just like, he's like, "It looks like an old Terran president, doesn't it?" And I was just like, "Yeah, it really does." and you can just have it. Couple of thousand points. He's already bought it, so he's going to buy it again. And he was like, "Yep, sounds good to me." So, but yeah, they had the sing off, and then we went to the nightclub inside or on Contraxia, I guess.
Probably one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
it was so fucking surreal.
Yeah, it was.
We have a nightclub on Contraxia.
Yeah,
we need to give a certain vibe. How do we do this? Drag MC.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect.
Makes so much sense.
It was absolutely like you were just like, yes.
And when we went in, because we'd been told that there was going to be a dance competition, in that nightclub, like way earlier.
Yeah, way earlier.
And they were like, "Oh, it's going down over there," and I was like, we probably went back there like an hour later.
Yeah, I think it was about there. Yeah.
And so when I came in, I think I was a little bit later then. I think it was because
you were
I was
just ahead of me, but you were still, It was very much on its way when I.
And I mean, it was just like any small cheese room in a nightclub, but headed by a drag queen.
It was cheese room in a nightclub meets a drag. If you've ever been to a drag night, it was that. It was those things put together. This drag had people doing all kinds of silly dances and being these different creatures, didn't it? You had to make different noises and stuff. Honestly, it was brilliant.
Works the crowd are good and
they're the master MCs.
Yeah.
They are, honestly. But it was absolutely brilliant. And then that happened, and we won that.
Yep.
Thanks specifically this time. Thanks to Sean and Harry getting very creative when they were told to be a goat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very much one chose to ride the other. And there was this moment of that's brilliant. The drag was facing the other way, and you were like, I can't wait for her to turn around. Come on, turn around.
She's looking around,
like looking for the winner. Yeah, and you're like, it's there,
it's
and
right there.
Literally straight away went, and I have my shining stars. We were like,
it was instantaneous. Yeah. She didn't even think about what anyone else was dancing like.
Didn't matter. You could have been doing the perfect goat.
Yeah, you could have been doing the worm. She wouldn't have turned around.
You could have been the goat of goats, but no.
Could have been an actual goat.
You could have been an actual
look,
goat.
As I turn myself into an actual goat.
No, these guys. And then again, just followed them to thing, done that. I don't know if you seized that opportunity again, did you?
Where did we go for that one?
That went back through the
little hatch.
The hatch through to nowhere again.
Yeah.
The best thing, again, funny thing that by the time we were coming through, they must have already dropped it off and was coming back. And the drag performer was like, as they're going through, just like pretending like they're being thrown about and stuff. It was quite funny.
Whereas, like,
really fully committed.
Yeah, 100% committed, as if that needed saying again. Yeah. But the tunnel, which was like supposed to be like a warp tunnel.
Yeah, essentially.
Like it would have been weird if anyone else had done it like that, even if they were like trying to get immersed.
Yeah.
But the fact that the characters were doing it was just like the funniest thing.
I thought it was
like
brilliant.
Absolutely nothing is overseen, like, or taken lightly. Like, I'm gonna walk through the tunnel, but I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just going to walk through it. Yeah, all the characters were like, "What?"
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. That goes another one. So we earned the points. I didn't know it was 100, so we actually earned back the points we lost.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the final score, as I said, we already mentioned, we didn't win, and we lost by more than that.
Yeah.
So the actual losing didn't, but. I've said before, it's break script because it's a funny story now. We might have lost loads of points for it. And at the time, even I was kind of like, for fuck's sake, guys, why'd you do that? And then you go, fuck it. Yeah. Everyone else was earning points. We fucked off. At the end of the day, we fucked off the collector. Yeah. Like, we pissed off the collector. How many more people are coming away saying they pissed off the collector?
Definitely not allowed back.
No. No.
But yeah, also the thing is, at the time, I was thinking, who's going to know? Yeah. It's like, unless someone squeals, if someone grasses.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to know.
We should have been standing outside just like, no.
Although, in hindsight now, with those screens popping up, I'm so glad they didn't have autonomy, because they definitely would have pushed something on there. Like, these guys.
we should have been like, oh, no, being really over dramatic. Like, oh no, I can't believe what's happened to the score. Like, I can't believe this has happened. Yeah, just this is so unexpected. Oh my god,
someone must have really fucked up.
Yeah, really fucked up. None of us.
It wasn't us. But while this is all going on as well, worth mentioning. So obviously, it's this little contained story. The Guardians are obviously there because you're gonna have the Guardians. They've already popped up once, and the idea is they have crashed. Rocket is fixing the ship. And they kind of show up, and it's a very, very ham Guardians, especially the Peter Quill, very hammy Peter Quill.
I mean, that's
hey guys, it's like, oh, I know what this is. It's the Battle of the Clans. They do this it's very much like, okay. Walked past Drax. I was taller than him. He was about my height.
No,
he wasn't. He was not Batista. No, it was good.
Right,
I love it. I'll be honest. I enjoyed a part of it. Gamora was like 4 foot. It was brilliant. But
she was about your height.
What?
She was about your height.
She was about my height.
No,
she was tiny.
She was actually.
She was tiny.
Yeah.
But it was good. No, these actors are obviously hired for a reason and stuff as well. Like seeing Drax mounting a pole professionally is to this day. I'm gutted the real Guardians haven't done it.
And I feel like Dave Bautista would be well up for it.
He could definitely do some, but he's definitely had a few pole classes. Absolutely. But it was very. It was very. Basically, they show up, and I think they've lost Groot, and they're looking for Groot, and then they show up a little bit later, and they've got Groot, and it's this little mechanical Groot, like baby Groot, brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
And yeah, it's a cool little story sort of thing. And it's just then you just carry on, and the collect pops up. Yondu pops up at one point, and everyone and the clan leaders challenge him, and the way they did his arrow effect.
Oh, it was great.
That was so cool. Like it was just like it was like a light on the wall.
Yeah.
But the way they dimmed everything, it looked like the arrow was flying. It was so well done.
One of the best effects there. That one.
Yeah, absolutely. There was things going on in the ring all night. Essentially, they had different events. Some of it was character based. Some of it was just getting people in and doing different games.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. It's just it's this lovely little like immersive thing you could just be a part of. Everyone's really into it. There didn't look like a single actor, and I suppose they would get rent for it, but all the actors, you said that no one broke character. No. It was fun. Everyone seems to have like having fun and like interacting and stuff like that. And even when it went a bit off script sort of thing, like when we done the Fiver thing, the guy was laughing, and you could see he was genuinely laughing, rather like almost at us.
Yeah.
But because my favorite thing about it is these actors are definitely like, I'm gonna get these nerds to do some shit.
Yeah. Of course.
I was all for it. It was fucking brilliant. Watching like these, I'm gonna make these people do some stuff that they would not normally do.
Shit.
Yeah, do some. I'm going to get them to sing and dance when they don't need to sing and dance. Yeah, but it was.
And the end of like the end of the production. Again, it's hard because I've got to compare it to others because that's our only real experience of the other ones. I feel like because it's its own story. It culminated in its ending. The fighting stuff was like pretty cool. Was pretty good. Up on the stage thing that they had there all night.
The actors were martial arts trained, really good.
They're moving about like fucking no one's business. Like, it looked great. And also one of the best effects is when they have Peter Quill like use his like jetpack.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was good.
I mean, it was really good. But the only thing was, it was a bit like, because it's its own thing. It's not part of like either film. Yes, there'd been an underlying narrative throughout the whole evening. It just didn't feel as grand as other stuff that we'd seen, say for like Star Wars, or because Stranger Things was like a really long performance of like loads of things happening of a story that is 2 or 3 seasons of a whole TV show, and they're acting it out. Felt a lot more substantial. But this, because it was its own thing, I think it was quite as good.
No,
but that doesn't mean it was bad by any stretch.
No.
I just feel like it was not as, it was just not as grand.
Yeah.
But that comes with the territory of making your own narrative.
Yeah.
For the experience, and B, it's not being Star Wars or not being Stranger Things. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
It's a bit weird because I'm like, yeah, it was really good, but I felt a tiny bit lackluster. In comparison,
for me, and I know obviously, I guess this is the thing for all ages and stuff like that. It felt a bit kiddie.
Right.
I felt like I was at a bit of a, like, it was good, but it felt like a bit of a kind of, let's all work together, guys. And I was a bit like, just act the scenes around me. Yeah. Like, look, I don't need to be involved in saving the universe. Yeah. You save the universe. Yeah. Like when we were on the Death Star, it wasn't very much like when we done the Death Star bit and you see Obi-Wan sneak around the bit and it's just the scenes from the film. There was no point. It was like, hey, everyone, cheer on the X-Wing. Yeah. We were just doing it anyway. Yeah. That's all. It wasn't like, you're a part of this. It's like, we're not a part of this. We just watch it. We're spectators. I kind of wish they just left us as spectators, but instead it was kind of like, let's all come together.
Yeah. It's called Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not called Protagonists of the Galaxy.
Yeah, or it's not called The Ravagers Unite. Also, but that's became the thing, Ravagers Unite. Yeah. Standing next to Sam, and it was Sam being Sam when they first pitched we can either unite or join the Collector in with the what they called the remnants of ethers or something like that. It was basically this thing that was going to destroy reality. I mean, Sam was like, "I'm with this guy." I'm like, of course you are, of course you are. And then they brought out like the caged baby Groot, and even Sam was like, "Right, that's too far." Yeah, Ravagers Unite. Yeah. But it was a bit like, "Let's work together, guys. We can do this." And it was very much like. I can't imagine Peter Quill saying that. The Guardians wouldn't be like, let's all work together. It's like, just do a show. I think they should have made it a bit of a show rather than a let's all work together. But I suppose everyone wants to be. It's
still really good.
It's still really good. No, absolutely didn't. It was,
and everyone was singing their anthem as well at the end.
Yeah, cool. Everyone's song went through and you did the dance and the anthem for that. That was pretty cool. And it was because that's where the distraction techniques came in because we had to like pass around. There was the two pink maidens. I don't know what to call them other than pink maidens from Guardians Galaxy.
They're like his assistant.
His assistant, something like that. There's the one that escaped the hypnosis or whatever he has to hold on her, and she was adorable. Then there was the fucking scary one that was even shorter than Gamora, and she walked right past me, and honestly, the face, like her face was just, she was terrifying. Honest, like absolutely terrifying. But they had all some pretty cool fights and stuff, and like it was good. It was a cool little thing, but it was just it was just a bit like I don't know. But to be honest, I think most people there enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, of course.
In the same way that most people, I've had the same thing with Thor. You know, MMOs, I hate it when you're the chosen one or you're the one or something like that. Yeah. The reason they do that is because most people want to be that. Yeah. I'm like, no, just make me a character in this universe. I want to be a sub-character in this universe.
Again, I'm not the protagonist of the galaxy.
Like, yeah, exactly. I don't need to be the protagonist, but a lot of people go to these things they want to be, obviously. So that's fine. That's cater to those people. But yeah, it was very much like, let's save the universe, guys, and you're kind of a part of it. And there's some cool effects from it. Brilliant really fighting, some absolutely wicked fighting.
Good wire work.
Wire work. Some ribbon work as well, weren't there? Jackson that were doing like there was like ropes in the ring at this point, and they were doing the ribbon stuff. And it was no matter where you were standing, they made sure they had a fight going on.
Yes, yeah.
So you had something to watch. That was cool. That was a cool little conclusion, and it was all like unite and we saved the galaxy together. And they essentially reenacted the
grabbing
Power Stone thing. Everyone grabbing and like. That sort of thing. That was good. That was well done. But yeah, I did enjoy it for. Like I said, it's its own little narrative. Obviously, it wasn't as grandeur as the others. Yeah. But I think the others, you said we had investment in those. Like it was existing stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was almost like a little like. I imagine what the holiday special was going to be it's just like a little like no real stakes. Oh, there was stakes, but like it's just like, hey, Ravagers and the Guardians are here.
Adventure. But that's not to take away from all the hard work.
No, it was good. It was absolutely brilliant.
I loved it.
Loved it. It's the best. There was grandiose of that. The combat thing. I've not seen that yet.
That's true. Yeah.
The closest we saw was Vader versus Luke. Yeah. And that was nowhere near the scale of this was. These guys were like backflipping, kickflipping. It was fucking really impressive, kind of like.
It was really good.
Like I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot more, especially because it doesn't follow a scene beat for beat.
Yeah,
it is just again great testament to them planning it out. That they were like, oh, we're actually gonna have like a really long fight scene between all these characters.
Yeah.
Choreography was really great on that as well. So
it's the reveal of he's got his latest thing, and he reveals it's a drop the box, and it's like it's one of the collector's containers, and it's Peter Quill in there.
Shards of Genesis or something.
No, that's a bit. That's good, but he's got Peter Quill captive. That's sort of thing, and it's for like. And then the music plays, something plays, and it is a bit of a cool moment where the Guardians show up all of a sudden, and it spotlights all of them, and it's Drax
obviously
up on the pole, like holding himself like handless on the pole.
Yeah,
brilliant. And you are kind of a bit like, the Guardians are here, kind of that. And it's pretty cool. And you watch the I think some of the captains are the one that help him escape, right?
I think so.
They break him out. And I think the idea is that some teams have been feeding into this thing the whole time, because I'm pretty sure there were people involved, a bit like we were in the Star Wars one. Right. I think there were people that have shown up involved in some, like transporting some of the things or something like that. They'd like been awarded some sort of like, I don't know. There's some VIP level there as well, weren't there? So maybe it was something to do with that. I don't know. But helping Peter escape, I think, was the Green Captain, and someone else was there.
All right, got it. Yeah.
But yeah, that was all quite fun. That was cool. But like cool little nods as well. But yeah, it was cool. And then from there, you've done that whole bit, beat the Collector essentially, and then we went into, there was a little bit of a downtime bit when they get food and drink and stuff, and then you go into the cinema part of it. I was disappointed with this bit.
Yeah, I can tell why. I know why, because even I was a bit like, it's nothing.
Yeah, but I understandably I was disappointed, but understand why it wasn't there.
Right.
Star Wars, as I say, they cater these things based on the source material and the restraints that might go. We obviously watched Guardians 2, the cinema, because we just not lived one, but like they tend to like do the first and then you watch the second. Star Wars, it was lived a New Hope, watched Empire. But there was none of the acting scenes. Yeah. Well, and I feel like there was some scenes in there they could have done.
So for me, I feel like they didn't do it because generally you would have had the climax of the film. You'd want to have the actors acting out some of those parts.
True.
But it'd be really hard because they're floating around and flying around.
Like, it's crazy CGI.
Yeah.
But still better than anything we've seen on basic level from Marvel in the last couple of years. But crazy CGI going on at that point, and it would have been...
It would have looked odd.
Yeah, it would have been weird if they'd acted out the scene between Quill and Gamora dancing.
Yeah.
Or even... them sitting around the fire with Ego and that would have been, or the Ravengers thingy. I'm
thinking back to Star Wars, all of the things that got acted out, and there wasn't that many.
No,
it was mainly just like it was either people fighting or
people talking,
integral bits of chat.
Yeah,
and it was a bit like the first two people who are face to face.
I think the first one is Leia, and that's one that sits in my head. Yeah. It's a brilliant one. We were watching it, and this is before we knew it was going to happen as well, which is quite. I think that's why it sticks in. It's the scene between Leia and Han, and that bit where they're, I guess, their first proper like flirt, because they don't really flirt in the first one,
arguing.
This flirt arguing thing where she's basically calling him a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a light appeared to your side, and you kind of because it lit up. You're like, and I had no idea this was going to happen. I had no idea what to expect. And you're like, oh shit! And their mouths like moving perfectly to it. And you're like, oh, it's the scene. And then that just sort of happened through it. And then obviously we saw the final fight.
There's no real pinnacle moments like that in Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Where you're like, they're iconic scenes.
Yeah.
Which they would have been able to have done the same thing.
No.
So I can understand why they did
I absolutely understand. And they, again, they catered to the source material they had, because what they did, you sat where you were in this huge cinema. They had the two main screens?
They had 3 main screens.
3 big screens.
Yeah.
And then monitors all over as well. So if you didn't want to look at the big screen of it, you've got a really good picture. I think I ended up watching the monitor in front of us and barely even noticed that I was watching a smaller screen, to be honest. It was good. And a light and just lights that went along with everything.
Honestly,
and that was
I
brilliant.
feel like the lights set up for this film is what they need to add to IMAX.
Yes,
because
it was perfect.
It's even more immersive than I'm not saying it's more immersive than an IMAX screen, but using they must have had about 300 LED tubes.
Yeah.
With the lighting mapped out to correspond with the
whatever was
picture
going
on screen.
Yeah, it'd be like the dialogue, the if there was lights flashing in.
Honestly, for the
music,
for the action sequences, it made it so much more intense. Yeah. And honestly, the first,
again to the arrow, the scene where Yondu and Rocket are taking out the Ravager ship.
Yeah.
The lighting was perfect. Yeah. It was just moving the direction of whatever the bullets were on the screen. It was, I know IMAX are missing something there.
I know cinemas sadly probably on their way out. I
don't think they ever will.
With the uncertainty with like Cineworld and stuff, and then post-COVID, I feel like one of the I don't know whether a chain would do it because it's quite a lot. It would be very expensive to do. But I feel like if I see that certain cinemas are doing this, got a nice screen, doesn't have to be one of those. It doesn't have to be like Every Man or something.
This was temporary pop-up.
I know, right? Yeah. So, they did spend a lot of money on it.
But... No, but I'm saying, so they've set up temporary pop-up. They've set it up in that sort of scenario in a structure that isn't always there.
Yes.
If you've got a structure that's always there, you don't need to have to set it up the once.
The first cinema chain that says we now do this experience, I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah.
Like immersive lighting, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be like, right.
IMAX immersive.
As long as it's not a million miles away.
Yeah.
I'll be like, right, all the big screen, all the big budget, big screen films, I'd be like, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Because it's even better.
Yeah.
There's been I know IMAX is still relatively new, but I feel like technology of cinema screens and this cinema experience is kind of like at an impasse where it's like, it's not stagnant, it's just a bit like...
It needs something, it needs the next thing.
Yeah, what's the next thing?
Cineworld have tried doing the side screens, haven't they? That was a bit...
And they've done with like sound, you've got like Dolby
4DX,
sound. Or,
yeah.
They've done loads of stuff with audio. And, they've done IMAX screens. And then it's just like, right, what else can you do? And this is it. And, I feel like when we went there and I was saying to Harry or whoever I was sitting next to, I was like, this is really good. Like, this experience of the cinema being like this.
Yeah.
Not the 3 screens right at the front.
No.
That was just a necessity, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the immersiveness of the lighting, the sound, and the screen all together was... top notch.
It was incredible. Yeah.
And I'm really glad that we went for live experience and screening.
Yeah.
Because I was a little bit like, shall we just do the
experience?
Shall we just do the experience? It's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And then we watched it and I was like, so glad that we did.
Yeah. If anyone who's going, because I think before it was a bit like, I think even Sean was a bit like, we could, I could just go home and watch this. And watch this. It's like, yeah, but it's not going to be the same. And when there was no acting, I was like, shit, maybe he was right. But the lighting, no, it was you couldn't just go home and have this experience.
Definitely not.
It was so well choreographed with this lighting show and stuff. It really made it.
And it'd been I'd probably seen Guardians 2 twice.
Overall.
And the last time I probably saw it was probably another time in the cinema. So I probably went to see it twice.
You've never watched it since?
I'd never watched it at home.
Oh no, I've revisited it. I do enjoy Guardians. I last watched it last year during my Marvel marathon. Right. I got up to Infinity War, so I did Guardians. You just do one after the other. If you do chronologically rather than when they came out, they just literally go one into the other. And I'd watched That was the last time I watched it. And last time I'd watched Guardians before that. I watched it the night before we did it.
Yeah.
But before that, again, was around the same time last year. Just watched them both together. So it was, again, it wasn't like it's fresh. It was just like, it's been a while since I've seen it and stuff. So
honestly, mate, I
love them both, and they still hold up.
I don't know if there's maybe people just thinking it's not as good as the first one, which I can kind of understand. But yeah, if anyone's, but it's good.
It's its own thing. It's got its own beats. Drax is funnier.
Yeah, fair enough.
The addition of Mantis is brilliant. It's very much it's the first one is brilliant. Again, it's like you introduce you to all these characters, and this is the chance to flesh out those characters, and you get some fantastic moments for all of them. And then Baby Groot is incredible.
It was better than I remember. That's just
really?
Yeah,
Fair
enough.
Fair
or enough. better than media post release.
Yeah,
has led me to believe.
Yeah. I think there's a few of those out there. Yeah,
and there's especially with the current slew of Marvel. Makes me appreciate even more.
I appreciate Phase 4 so much. All of it. Anything up to Endgame. Yeah.
So watching it after having seen first 2 of She-Hulk and prior media post, probably, I don't know, What If. I was just like, God, the good old days.
The good old days of Marvel.
The good old days.
I mean, so what is this film? It's got to be like, it's heavily CGI'd anyway, obviously. Half the characters, I know a lot of it's makeup for a lot of them, but there is fucking 2 of the main characters are completely CGI'd, at least.
Yeah.
And still better, like effects, graphics, whatever you want to call it, than whatever the fuck we're getting. I think She-Hulk's getting worse every episode. Like the last one I watched, I was like, what the fuck is up with her face? Like this, it wasn't great before, but this was better than this. But
we'll get to that.
We will.
And
still need to watch Miss Marvel. We will get to that. Yes.
Right.
But Secret Cinema.
Right. Let's give a rating.
We're gonna do a rating.
Yeah, we're gonna do a
rating. Okay.
We're gonna give the.
Are we rating the experience?
We're gonna give the whole experience,
not
from the second.
Not the Guardians 2.
Not the film, but I'm going to include our viewing experience.
Yeah. Okay.
In our overall rating.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
We're going to do it out of not so secret secrets.
Not so secret. I like it because we've just given a secret.
just spilled the beans.
Not so secret anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So out of 5, not so secrets.
Not so secrets. I'm going to give it back. So obviously we never got to do them. So I'm going to do a bit of a retro grading for this particular area.
Go on.
Star Wars was a 5.
Yeah.
Right.
If I could go back and do a longer review of that, because I mean it's 7 years ago. I can't remember
all of it, but
I would have given it.
We covered most of it in this anyway.
I feel like I probably would have given it a 5.5 or 6. I would have broken our ratings.
We'd have broken it. It was absolutely fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what to expect and stuff as well.
This
one, you again did not know what to expect, and it was brilliant and did really well. But there were just a few things about it. I was just like, okay, it wasn't quite the Star Wars one. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Right.
Yeah. 5 and a 4. Yeah, a whole point lower. Yeah, I'd say it was a point lower than the Star Wars one.
You're only going to give it a 0.5 better than Shang-Chi.
No.
I'm joking.
No, I'm not. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, and
we will talk about that in our next Marvel one. I think that we'll mention.
This is an unofficial Marvel one.
We'll mention that revelation in the next. So I would say this is a 4. Solid 4. Like a high 4, but
I don't know. It's
4.5. 4.5.
Yeah,
4.5. Yeah, because it was like a beat less. The
words are about to come out of my mouth that this like one of the first times that you've given something a lower rating than me.
It's not though.
No, I'd say one of the first.
Yeah.
So it's very rare.
Eternals.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's just
because you wouldn't let me give it a 0, so I had to
I
had to give it as low as possible.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I also give it a 4.5.
Yeah.
And
retro Star Wars 5. Yeah. Oh, you said that anyway. Yeah.
6, mate. It's a 10.
What about because you can and I can't? We've mentioned it enough in this. Stranger, you talked about it. You pretty much broke it down in this as well.
Yeah, Stranger Things
on. What would you give?
5.
5. So pretty much go 6, 5, and then this is 4.5. Fair enough.
So with this, it's only nitpicky minor things.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, I hate doing that, but that's the nature of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we needed about half an hour to an hour longer.
Yeah.
I feel like the people who were coming in, I think the latest you could come in was like 6:30 or 7.
I know. What were they doing?
And I'm like, you must, honestly, you got to have paid like half the price if you're coming in at 6, 7 o'clock.
You'd have missed most of it.
You missed most of it.
You missed most of it.
Time. They need an option where you stick around and they turn it into a club.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be till like
Honestly,
5 a.m.
No. But like till so we finished the cinema at
I think it was
half 10.
No, I think it was about 11.
Was it 11?
Yeah. It's not a short film.
No, stay open.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, or even start the whole thing earlier. You're in a warehouse.
Yeah, true.
You don't need it to be dark.
Yeah.
They could have started at like 4, something like that. Finish about 10, and then.
I can understand why they don't, because you don't want anything to break.
You know what?
And they don't want anything to break.
Okay.
Lots of drunk people around.
Yeah.
I feel like they've hit a sweet spot with how much time.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I'd like an extra hour.
Yeah.
I know that kind of means like you have to produce probably an extra hour of content. But I feel like the first hour.
Do you though?
The first hour can just be like
getting in.
Well,
what this was.
Small interactions.
You just spread it out,
and then 2 hours or whatever the actual time was. 2 hours of your main story.
There was in a room we didn't even go in.
Yeah.
The club we didn't even go in.
Yeah.
So there was plenty to. I don't know if we would even have to spread it out. You just spread out the main content.
Maybe that email, knew that we hadn't done everything, and it was just like miss out on something. I was like, probably.
Yeah.
It's like because, and depending on the run, depending on finances, I guess I'm thinking about going again, but I'll do something different, and I'll go in a smaller group.
Yeah,
it was great having our group.
Yeah, but it was a bit like I spent a bit of time looking for everyone.
Yeah,
it was that we kept getting separated.
This one would be like laser focus. Me going headfirst into everything even more.
I honestly don't. As much as I missed a couple of things, I don't know if I'd do it again.
Probably not worth
that it's worth doing again. No, I want the next one now.
Yeah,
I want the next. I'm obviously going to do a Secret Cinema again.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, I will do every Secret Cinema that comes out from now on.
Yeah.
And I don't see why I couldn't.
Yeah.
One of my friends has been done a lot of them, and it does sound each one just hits differently.
You
don't want to be the one to miss the next Back to the Future.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
So giving it 4.5 just for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
A little bit more time, sorry.
Yeah.
The early introduction, I guess, was very lackluster.
Yeah.
And that's probably about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, as live experiences go, and for me to be kind of done with just 2 minor nitpicks.
I got one more.
Yeah, go on.
Voice actor Drax drop into an English accent every couple of words.
Did it? Oh.
Yeah.
That's very small.
I know.
You're gonna chalk that up on the board.
I'm just that guy.
Right, okay. Actually, no Rocket. I mean, they had it on the screen.
How the fuck would they do Rocket?
I said do a hologram. What is it called?
That's a lot of money.
No, you can do, what do you call it? What's that technique called? Something ghost? Where they use planes of glass? Yeah. It's an old Victorian
where
trick.
You go to the museums and they've got the... Yeah.
But then literally have the glass all blue and fuzzy, and it could have been a hologram. Yeah. They had him on the screen. It was a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, maybe he was in it. He was involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
for that because Rocket is.
I mean, it's a trick that they've been doing.
I was impressed with the Baby Groot.
Yeah, I mean, that was really good.
Full on animatronic Baby Groot. That was good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was puppeteered, but
it was animatronic.
No,
I don't give a shit. The point is, there was a Baby Groot there.
There was a Baby Groot there, yeah, and it was moving.
Like it was moving,
like it was alive,
and it was I am Groot, and all it was amazing.
It was I am Grooting.
I am Groot.
That is what it does.
I am Groot.
But yeah, I mean, these are
I am Groot.
These are tiny things that, out of a live experience like this, I'm not going to be like marking it down a whole point and a half for.
No, they did their absolute best,
and they did.
Yeah, they did.
It was great.
Yeah, so good. Cannot recommend these Secret Cinemas enough.
Yeah,
like if you get a opportunity to go to one of these, I would even say, if it's a film and it's not necessarily one of your best ones, and you've got the means to go anyway. My dad went to the Dirty Dancing one, has no interest in Dirty Dancing. He had a great time because you were immersed in the 80s.
Yes. Isn't it set earlier than that?
Was it 70s? Dirty Dancing is very similar to the Back to the Future where they build up the little town you're in.
Yes.
It was outside and they built up the little town. There was a carnival, things like that. So like, there will be something for you anyway, even if you're not the biggest mark of the film. Yeah. It's very much like I would highly encourage to do as many of these as you can, really, but especially if it's a film you love.
Yeah,
absolutely. Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Again, very
Sci-fi.
Blade Runner, but not.
Fifth Element's its own thing.
It is its own thing. Yeah,
it stole from a lot of books, but film-wise, it's its own thing. Yeah. It stole from. I think it's directly stolen from a film called Metropolis, but it's film-wise, it's its own thing. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah,
I can see how that works. I can actually see how that works.
Well,
okay.
Now, Guardians of the Galaxy, Secrets out.